These are the ghost drones that have the Pentagon scrambling to rewrite America's entire defense strategy. In September 2024, the U.S. Army selected Anduril's Ghost-X for rapid deployment, and Australia signed a $1.07 billion contract for dozens of Ghost Shark autonomous submarines. Behind these massive investments lies a terrifying reality. America races against time to counter China's overwhelming numerical advantage in what military leaders call the coming drone swarm wars. The man behind this technological revolution is Palmer Luckey, the 33-year-old founder of Oculus VR, who sold his virtual reality company to Facebook for $2.03 billion in 2014. After leaving Facebook in 2017 under controversial circumstances, Luckey channeled his fortune into founding Anduril Industries, naming it after Aragorn's reforged sword from Lord of the Rings. That company is now valued at $30.05 billion and has become one of only 3 unicorn defense companies to emerge in the last 35 years. This isn't just another Silicon Valley success story. America's military is preparing for a fundamentally different kind of warfare, one where traditional platforms like aircraft carriers and fighter jets may become sitting ducks against swarms of autonomous drones. The Pentagon's assessment is stark. China's drone fleet is now estimated to be 10 times larger than those of the US and Taiwan combined. Beijing's main military advantage is mass: more ships, more missiles, more people, according to Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks. The Ghost-X represents America's answer to this challenge. Unveiled in September 2023, this isn't your typical quadcopter drone. Standing apart from conventional multi-rotor systems, the Ghost-X uses a helicopter-type design with main and tail rotors, dramatically improving its aerodynamic efficiency and endurance. The engineering choices here reveal the military's shifting priorities. This drone can fly for 80 to 90 minutes, carry payloads up to 25 pounds, and operate within a 15-mile range while being weatherized for harsh environments. What makes Ghost-X truly revolutionary is its deployment speed. A single operator can assemble the entire system from a rifle case in under 2 minutes without tools. Think about the tactical implications of that capability. Special Forces teams can now deploy reconnaissance assets faster than they can set up a communications post. The system weighs under 55 pounds, fitting the military's Group 2 classification, but packs capabilities that would have required much larger platforms just a few years ago. The timing of Ghost-X's development reflects urgent lessons learned from Ukraine and Gaza. Army Futures Command Chief General James Rainey specifically cited observations from these ongoing conflicts as driving the accelerated development timeline. What they've witnessed is the democratization of drone warfare, where relatively inexpensive commercial systems are destroying million-dollar military assets. The old calculus of warfare, where expensive platforms dominated battlefields, is crumbling. From February to March 2024, the U.S. Army put Ghost-X through intensive trials during Project Convergence Capstone 4 at Fort Irwin, California. These weren't gentle test flights. Military operators pushed the system through high-tempo combat scenarios, and the results convinced Army leadership to fast-track the program. By September 2024, Ghost-X had been selected for the Army's company-level Small Unmanned Aircraft System program, putting autonomous reconnaissance capabilities directly into the hands of frontline units. The real validation came in October 2024 when Ghost-X was selected for the Pentagon's Replicator 1.2 initiative, a program designed to field thousands of AI-enabled drones by 2025. This selection wasn't just about the drone's technical capabilities, but about its readiness for mass production. The Pentagon learned from Ukraine that having a few sophisticated systems means nothing if you can't produce them at scale when war begins. The Ghost program extends far beyond aerial drones. Parallel to Ghost-X development, Anduril has been working on an even more groundbreaking system, the Ghost Shark autonomous submarine. In December 2022, Australia announced collaboration with Anduril on this project, and by April 2024, they revealed the first prototype designated Alpha in Sydney Harbour. The Ghost Shark represents a radical departure from traditional submarine design. Unlike crude submarines that require pressure hulls to protect human occupants, Ghost Shark uses a flooded design where most internal spaces are filled with water. Only critical systems like propulsion and navigation are housed in waterproof compartments. This design philosophy dramatically improves range and endurance while allowing operations at extreme depths that would be impossible for crewed vessels. The specifications that have been released hint at the system's capabilities. Ghost Shark measures less than 12 meters in length and displaces under 100 tons, making it roughly 1/6 the size of Australia's Collins-class submarines. size isn't everything in underwater warfare. Anduril claims the system has a multi-thousand-mile range, meaning at least 3,200 kilometers of operational reach. The trade-off is speed. These submarines likely cruise at only 3 to 4 knots to conserve battery power, but their stealth and endurance make them ideal for intelligence gathering and area denial missions. Australian Defence Minister Richard Marles hasn't been shy about the implications. This is the leading capability in the world in terms of a long-range autonomous underwater capability. The enthusiasm is backed by serious money. In September 2025, Australia signed a $1.07 billion contract for dozens of Ghost Shark vehicles, with the first units entering service in early 2026. The first production Ghost Shark rolled off Anduril's Sydney manufacturing line in November 2025, ahead of schedule and on budget. The strategic thinking behind Ghost Shark becomes clear when you consider the geography of potential conflict in the Indo-Pacific. The vast distances between island chains create perfect conditions for autonomous submarines that can operate independently for months at a time. These systems can patrol choke points, gather intelligence, and potentially engage targets without risking human crews. They present what Australian officials call greater risk of detection and attack for any adversary attempting to move through contested waters. Behind both Ghost systems lies Anduril's Lattis AI software platform, which may be the company's most important innovation. Lattis processes vast amounts of sensor data in real time, creating comprehensive situational awareness that would be impossible for human operators to maintain. The platform's philosophy is revolutionary, shifting from many operators of one autonomous system to one operator of many autonomous systems. In practical terms, this means a single soldier could potentially control multiple Ghost-X drones simultaneously, while Lattis handles the complex coordination tasks. The U.S. Army has already selected Lattis as the software backbone for its Integrated Battle Command System maneuver program, making it the service's fire control platform for counter-unmanned aircraft system missions. This isn't just about controlling friendly drones, it's about creating an integrated defense network that can detect, track, and engage enemy drone swarms automatically. The urgency driving these programs becomes apparent when you examine the Pentagon's broader strategic concerns. Intelligence assessments identify 2027 as a potential timeline for Chinese action regarding Taiwan, giving American defense planners less than 3 years to field effective countermeasures. The Pentagon's response has been the $1 billion Replicator Initiative, aimed at fielding thousands of air, sea, and land drones by 2025 in what officials call a hellscape strategy. The concept behind Replicator is simple but profound. Counter China's numerical advantage with America's own mass production capabilities, but make those systems harder to plan for, harder to hit, harder to beat, through advanced autonomy and distributed operations. Ghost-X and Ghost Shark represent two key components of this strategy, providing persistent surveillance and strike capabilities across multiple domains. The program faces significant challenges. The Wall Street Journal reported in September 2024 that the Replicator program has fallen behind schedule due to widespread technical failures and procurement missteps. Multiple drone systems selected for the program have failed during testing, and the entire initiative has been transferred to a new Defense Autonomous Warfare Group in an attempt to accelerate progress before the 2027 deadline. The technical problems highlight a fundamental challenge in military drone development: the gap between commercial capabilities and military requirements. Commercial drones excel in controlled environments, but military systems must operate in contested electromagnetic environments where jamming and cyber attacks are routine. The Ghost systems address this challenge through advanced autonomy that can operate without constant communication links, but proving these capabilities under combat conditions remains an ongoing challenge. Meanwhile, China isn't standing still. Chinese companies like DJI and AVIC are producing drones at rates comparable to consumer electronics manufacturing. The scale advantage is overwhelming. Where American defense contractors think in terms of hundreds of units, Chinese manufacturers operate in the tens of thousands. This industrial capacity advantage means that even technically superior American systems may be overwhelmed by sheer numbers in a prolonged conflict. The solution, according to Anduril's leadership, lies in revolutionary manufacturing approaches. The company is building Arsenal 1, a 5 million square foot manufacturing facility in Ohio that represents the largest single job creation investment in the state's history. Promising 4,000 jobs and over $900 million in investment, Arsenal 1 is designed to bring hyperscale manufacturing to defense production. Arsenal One's approach borrows from commercial manufacturing, using advanced automation and modular design to achieve production rates previously impossible in defense manufacturing. The facility is expected to begin production by July 2026, with the first autonomous jets rolling off the line by Q2. If successful, this model could fundamentally change how America produces military equipment, shifting from the current low-rate production model to something approaching commercial scale. The broader implications extend beyond individual weapon systems. Anduril's success has attracted massive investment, with the company raising $2.05 billion in June 2025 at a $30.05 billion valuation, led by Peter Thiel's Founders Fund. More recent reports suggest the company could raise an additional $8 billion, potentially bringing its valuation to $60 billion and making it one of the world's most valuable private companies. This financial firepower is being deployed across multiple programs simultaneously. In February 2025, Anduril took over Microsoft's troubled $22 billion Integrated Visual Augmentation System program, which aims to deliver 120,000 augmented reality headsets to the US Army. The irony isn't lost on observers. Palmer Luckey, who left Facebook over political controversies, is now building headsets with Meta for the US military. The company has also secured major contracts across multiple services. A $250 million Pentagon contract covers production of Roadrunner interceptor systems designed to counter drone attacks. A $642 million Marine Corps contract provides counter-drone technology for base defense through 2035. These contracts represent more than revenue. They're validation that the military sees Anduril's approach as fundamental to future defense strategy. Success brings scrutiny, particularly around the ethical implications of autonomous weapons. The Pentagon is increasingly pursuing systems that rely on greater machine autonomy, including armed drone swarms and automated combat platforms. Critics worry that this push toward automation fuels government surveillance fears and moves warfare towards scenarios where machines make life-and-death decisions without human oversight. Palmer Luckey himself remains a controversial figure. His 2017 departure from Facebook, which he attributes to giving $9,000 to a pro-Trump political group, highlighted the political tensions surrounding defense technology development. His vision for autonomous defense systems aligns perfectly with Pentagon priorities, making him an unlikely but essential figure in America's military transformation. The strategic calculus driving these investments is stark. Traditional platforms that have dominated warfare for decades, aircraft carriers, fighter jets, main battle tanks, are becoming increasingly vulnerable to swarms of inexpensive autonomous systems. The Ghost platforms represent an attempt to fight fire with fire, using America's technological advantages to overcome numerical disadvantages through superior autonomy and coordination. Early operational results suggest the approach may be working. The U.S. Army is conducting high-tempo trials of Ghost-X with the 25th Infantry Division, and the system is proving it can spot targets and cue HIMARS strikes within minutes. This capability to compress the targeting cycle from hours to minutes could prove decisive in high-intensity conflict where speed of engagement determines survival. The Ghost Shark program offers similar advantages underwater. Autonomous submarines can undertake the most dangerous missions without risking human crews, while their stealth and endurance make them ideal for persistent surveillance and area denial. The first production units are already being delivered to the Royal Australian Navy, making this one of the fastest defense programs in recent memory to move from concept to operational deployment. As 2026 approaches, both Ghost systems will face their ultimate test: integration into operational military units and potential combat deployment. The technical challenges are immense, but the strategic imperative is clear. America's military advantage has historically relied on technological superiority and training quality to overcome numerical disadvantages. The Ghost programs represent the latest evolution of this strategy, adapted for an era where the battlefields of the future may be dominated by autonomous systems operating at speeds and scales beyond human comprehension. The question isn't whether these systems will work perfectly from day one. No complex military system ever does. The question is whether America can scale production and refine capabilities faster than potential adversaries can develop countermeasures. With the 2027 timeline looming and billions of dollars committed, the Ghost programs represent more than just new weapon systems. They're a bet on America's ability to maintain military dominance through technological innovation, in an era when that dominance can no longer be taken for granted. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the Pentagon's urgency in deploying these Ghost systems reflects a sobering assessment of the threats ahead. In the next few years, we'll discover whether America's ghost drones can indeed haunt future battlefields, or whether they'll become expensive lessons in the limits of autonomous warfare.